welcome to your favorite travel and magazine show. I'm your host for today, Eloise Skobler, and we have quite a lineup for you today. So stay warm, stay on your couch and stay tuned for more from around the world. Coming up next, colleague Nadia Dambuza takes us on a wine festival. Next, we go to Egypt to find out what Egypt's delicacy is. Algeria is doing it all it can to make sure that the tourism industry booms, and we find out more about that. And lastly, we're off to the Taste of Paris to find out how chefs prepare delicious meals for all to taste.
South African wine has a history dating back to 1659 with Constantia, a vineyard near Cape Town. Over the years, the wine farms have grown to almost 1,000, with winemakers offering an ever-changing wide range of cultivators. South African wines offer superb value, delivering elegant layers of fruit, bold flavors, subtle oaking, and long, rich tastes. The genuine warmth, rich atmosphere and sense of togetherness that wine engenders doesn't exist in many industries. The joy of wine tasting always leads to discovery. The month of May meant it was time to toast the 27th Juliet Cullinan Standard Bank Wine Festival, taking place in the tranquil summer place in Hyde Park, Johannesburg. She couldn't have chosen a more perfect spot for this exclusive and elegant event.
Its 27th year, the Juliet Cullinan Standard Bank Wine Festival is the longest running premier wine festival in the country. We are here to enjoy fine wine.
With so many different flavors filling the room, it was time to taste and experience, or simply learn the difference between a Merlot and a Pinot Noir.
So we have some fantastic wines from the Trendz here tonight. We're doing an NCC Brut, Sauvignon Blanc, which is award-winning as well, award-winning Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and the famous the Trendz Shiraz. I will be pouring the exquisite Shiraz for you. As you can see, a lot of bling. It has won a platinum from Michelangelo, double gold from Veritas, as well as a trophy from Vitis Vinifera. Beautiful, full-bodied red, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So on the nose, lots of luscious fruits, definitely that's rich plum aromas, blueberries, blackberries, and follows through beautifully on the palate with the white pepper spice on the backdrop. Stunning. We also aged it for 13 months on French as well as American oak, just to add to that smoky pepperiness of the grape. Stunning, stunning wine.
Well, I think the thing is that it comes from my heart. It comes from a love of what I've been doing for all these years. It's 27 years old now, and I started working with the fathers, and now I'm working with the sons. And some of the winemakers here aren't even 27 years old, so it's really interesting. And what I love about it is I always look for unique wineries, something small, something particular. I can say to you, you can taste anything in the marquee tonight. It will be fantastic. Sometimes it might not be to your taste, but there's no bad wines. They're only excellent wines. And winemakers that have won internationally and are very proud and passionate of what they're doing.
27 years ago, you had this bright idea. What inspired it?
I think it was a love of wine. I was inspired by my grandfather and my father, and I had a wine tasting in Hermanus just at home and invited 5 or 6 different wineries, and I realized they needed a market in Johannesburg. And so from there we looked at how to develop the market. But it came out of love. You know, just why don't you come along, we'll do this festival, we'll invite some people. And it was such fun to do. And it was out of that it all transpired.
Pick your wine.
Very carefully. I must say very carefully. I'm quite strict about that because I want to go for the very best. Often I want to go for something nobody's heard of before because there are lots of wine events. And you know your favorites, but you want to have a new one, especially if it's winter, maybe a winter red, or else if it's coming up for summer or your December entertainment, you want something new. So I go out, I look, I taste, I'm very specific. I try and go for international awards and the Platter or the Michelangelo or the something like that where they've won awards, and then I still taste on that.
The Elgin area, and that is the apple growing area in the Cape. And we've been making our wine since 2013, seriously. Prior to that, we only had one wine, which was the Malbec, but now we have 5 wines that we're showing you tonight. And if you look around us, you see how popular we are. I don't know if it's because we make different wines, or whether the labels look different, or whether it's because my wife is behind the counter as well. But yeah, it's a good show.
Okay. What are you going to make me taste today? What are you going to make me taste today?
I'm going to make you taste maybe my favorite, and we are famous for this particular wine, which is called the Black Dog Malbec. And recently it was awarded one of the top 100 wines in South Africa. It was also the best in class. So we are very, very proud. In fact, we are still on a high because, as I say, 3 weeks ago we got this award, and we're just flying.
I'm excited to taste it.
Good.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Lovely. Nice and fruity.
It's delicious.
Fleshy. Easy drinking.
It is.
Yep.
It's a dangerous one. I could find myself having the whole bottle. It's delicious.
Well, try.
No. It's beautiful.
ASHWINI has been in South Africa producing wines from 1941. We do a wide range of wines. Most of the people know us as One with Zebra, that you can find in most of the Checkers and all the retail stores out there. What people don't know is our other ranges. We've got the Vineyard Collection, which is more for our niche varietals like Malbec and Grenache Blanc. And then Farm in the new one we just launched. That is in aid of a farming community. And then obviously our pride and joy is the Dryland Collection. We pride ourselves that the Dryland Collection is 100% dryland vineyards, which means that they don't get any irrigation whatsoever during the year. Only rely on rain and groundwater for the water supply, which actually makes them smaller berries that's much more concentrated in flavour and colour, and obviously a lot thicker skin that gives some additional flavour to the wine as well.
Alright, so which one would you suggest I try? Okay.
Named after one of our winemakers. It's a blend of Shiraz, Cabernet, Grenache Noir and Malbec.
Okay. Let's give it a go.
It's an aged in wood. For wood, we try wood to use more older barrels. So if you don't have too much wood in the wine, wood should just be there to accompany the wine, give it some structure, but not to be an overbearing factor in the taste profile.
I agree. It's perfect, actually.
ASHWINI is a wine-based cocktail. It's from Saint-Tropez in the south of France. We have an alcoholic range and a non-alcoholic. So it's 6.5% in the alcoholic, and we have cans as well as bottles.
Okay, awesome. So obviously I'm going to give it a try. Just a bit. Thank you. So what should I expect to taste?
A very light peach flavor. It's a summer drink, so it's nice with lots of ice and best of very cold.
Awesome. Let's give it a try. So this one I don't swirl, I just chug. It is very light and summery. It reminds you of summer. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Bye.
These are the two flavors of the wine pops that we have, which are made from the Pierre Jourdain wine. One is the Tranquille, which is the more rosy, sweeter one, and the other one is the champagne one, which is the Brut, which is the bubbly. We call it Bubbles and Blush. They are available at certain Pick and Pays. You can go online and you can see our stockists, and that's what our popsicles. So they're more you can call it almost like a wine sorbet. It's cool, it's fresh, it's tasty, it's nice for a very hot day around the pool, at weddings, at functions. They're just very easy to have and fun. It's a fun thing. Give you one and you can try one and enjoy. And it's a bit cold, so there we go. And we will give you a serviette. Can we give you a serviette?
It's actually nice.
Enjoy.
So this is
that's the tranquil. I gave you the tranquil one. Yeah. So it's fun. And it tastes like wine, and it's very interesting.
So how many of these do I have?
Not too many if you're driving home.
Can you explain a bit about what's going on here, the different flavors? I see you have chocolate, sweet sand even, and I saw grass down there. Can you explain to us what this is about? Yes.
Indeed. We're the Cape Wine Academy. That's an old institution, an academy created in 1979. And we're actually in Stellenbosch and up here in Johannesburg. And our aim is actually to educate people in wine. And the interesting part of wine is actually the tasting of wine. So basically you go about appearance, then you go into your nose, and this is exactly what we're trying to show you. So we're trying to show you that your nose can taste an aroma variety like you can't believe. Then the second part is you come to the taste. Your taste sensations are particular. So that's why we've put up these glasses with these different licorice, pepper, chocolate, green grass all the way down here. And we've listed and shown you what the varieties mostly show in aromas and flavors.
Okay. For the novice, for example, what would make a wine smell like sand? Like why would it smell? I'm thinking it comes from a grape,
yes.
But then all of these different smells and tastes come up.
Yeah.
Why? How does that happen?
Now the wines are obviously grapes picked in a vineyard in a certain site and at a specific time, and they've gone through weather conditions and the soils are different. I've just mentioned to you a few of the facets what makes each wine different. Soil, weather, the grape variety you have in the glass, all these things. There's a French word for it, they love saying these things. It's called terroir. Terroir. So wines are specific because they are built in different terroirs. Terroirs meaning soils, weather, a landscape, aspect, etc., etc.
So this gives the wine its specific taste, where it's grown, what time the grapes are picked, and the different types of grapes. Oh, that's awesome.
For example, let's take grass. Grass, this is just to show you. It is to show you the aroma of grass. So you smell grass. Grass is one of the aromas you smell in Sauvignon Blanc. So that is a help. You've got this very nice glass in front of you with licorice. Everybody's attracted to this. This is one of the varieties. Here we have it. Shiraz. There's a bit of licorice in Shiraz. So it's that interesting licorice taste that makes you maybe come back for the next glass of Shiraz.
Okay, awesome. And then last but not least, I want to know how to pronounce properly some of the wine names. Cabernet Sauvignon, very good, right? And then Shiraz, and then Pinotage, and then Pinot Noir, and then what else do you have? And then how do you pronounce?
Chenin Blanc.
Chenin Blanc.
As a French person, you would say Chenin Blanc.
Chenin Blanc.
Then we have a Sauvignon Blanc down here, and a Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. Yeah. Thank you so much for the info.
It's a pleasure. If you want to come learn about wine, come look for us, Cape Wine Academy.
Thank you so much. I think we actually should know what we are drinking.
And it's fascinating because
How nice to say to your husband, come, join me on a glass of Pinot Noir, because it's going to go so well with our food tonight, which is a veal. So that would impress anybody, wouldn't it? Definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
After sipping on some fine wine, we also had a great look at some visual arts that flew in all the way from the gallery in Cape Town.
And now's your chance, Trendz, to stretch those legs and run to the kitchen for that warm beverage. We'll be right back after this short break.
Water-wise, water is an essential need. The scarcity of it could lead to loss of many lives, including livestock, plants, and much more. It requires us to use it sparingly and responsibly in times of need, failing which our taps and sanitation will not function. For more on water and weather issues, stay tuned to News Today, every Friday at 4:45 Central African Time. SABC News, making you water-wise.
Pigeons, yes, pigeons are a delicacy in Egypt. They're served roasted and stuffed with fragrant rice. But one of Cairo's pigeon fanciers feels that these are prize birds and are not someone's next meal. Let's take a look.
Up in the wooden towers is where these pigeons find their refuge. They are balanced on top of many buildings in the poorest areas of Cairo. The little creatures have been in the frying pan since the times of Rome and ancient Egypt. Now, they are often eaten all over the world as squab. Syed Mohammed loves pigeons, but not as meals. He started admiring these birds long when he was still a toddler. Today, he owns a huge pigeon loft.
My love for pigeons since I was a child made me want to build a pigeon loft. I used to go up to my uncle's house, and yes, his loft was like mine, but you need to own one so you can dedicate everything to it out of love for it. So we worked and God was generous and we bought a house, and the first thing we did before we got married was that we built a pigeon loft. We built it because it makes us feel alive. Yes, we spend money on it, but we don't mind spending money on it, and we enjoy it.
Mohammed has a unique way to communicate. By whistling and using gestures, the birds understand what their keeper says, may it be for them to fly higher or come back.
The whistle and the flag are like a language between you and the pigeons. Some pigeons aren't used to the flags, while others aren't used to the whistle, so they end up somewhere strange. When the fancier whistles at them, the pigeons run away. They know it's not home. So that flag, I use it to signal to them that they should fly up high, and when I stop waving it, they know I need them to return or that I don't want them to go far.
Every evening, he releases the birds, starting with his most prized specimens, and later the entire flock. By nightfall, they find their way back, often bringing along other friends. For the pigeon fancier, he can tell the value of the pigeon by just looking at its features.
When we go down to the market, for example, we want strong pigeons. The first thing we do is that we hold them from their shoulders and we start sorting them through their feathers. White feathers prove that the pigeons have flown a lot. As fanciers, we call the feathers the weapons. In humans, the brain is the weapon, and in pigeons, the feathers are like their brains. So we look at the feathers, and if they are white, we know they are strong pigeons.
Mohammed is not alone. While he takes care of his friends in Egypt, other pigeon lovers in various countries do the same. During the annual Islamic pilgrimage of Hajj to Mecca, Saudi Arabia, pigeons are a visible sight that hardly go unnoticed.
They are friendly and they fly. Glory to God. They are friendly with human beings. There is tranquility in Al-Haram, and the tranquility has gone down to them.
This pigeon is like a small child. No one eats it or hunts it. This is forbidden. I like to see it as a child.
As the sun sets back over Cairo, the pigeons from Syed's Mohammed's loft will soar and fly high from the frying pan.
Nestled in the heart of Midrand, an urban oasis of sorts awaits the Bon Hotel. A space that caters to both corporate and conference markets in a tranquil setting. The hotel put out a showcase for media, exhibiting all they have to offer with beautifully decorated tables by the pool, live music. Their facilities cater for all events. Uhlanga Mobile Bar catered to all our beverage needs, making some amazing cocktails for everyone.
And carry on plating, carry on plating.
Celebrity chef Sitrim Kumalo and the Bon Hotel Group announced a new venture, a Seedley culinary kitchen and the Black Pepper Bar, which officially opened earlier this year. Students will be exposed to the skill of Chef Kumalo, who comes with a host of accolades. Celebrity chef, owner of the CPSH, president of African Chefs United, and the Culinary Arts Association of South Africa.
My background is quite interesting because when I finished school, I went into the metal industry. I studied metal engineering, but that wasn't my passion. So my road to becoming a chef really started in restaurants, where I started right at the bottom as the cleaner, scrub all the floors, scrub all the grills. But then obviously you need to have a qualification. So I did training through Intech College, UNISA. I also trained with HTA, School of Hospitality in Randburg, just to refine my skills as always. And then I've then worked all over the world. I've worked for corporate companies in South Africa, spent some time in Germany, spent some time in the UK. So it's a fascinating industry, so I'm enjoying it and loving it.
Located at the refurbished restaurant venue at the Bon Hotel Midrand, the Culinary School restaurant is the result of a desire to bring young African chefs into the industry.
Well, this is an amazing partnership with the Bon Hotel. This space called Asile Culinary Kitchen is a skills development center, as I would like to say it is a premium African skills development center, where we are running the space as a fully fledged restaurant and the kitchen, as you can see, but our core business is training. The ideology behind this is it's obviously been done overseas, and that's why we always say in South Africa there are not enough chefs because we don't train them the right way. If you look at the model of training chefs overseas, a culinary school always has an attachment of a hotel and a restaurant because the young people then have to practice in the real world. It's a skills-intense industry where you cannot just talk about it. I cannot talk about making a dish. You know, I have to show the young people, and there's something that we say as chefs that you do not know how to make a dish until you've done it 1,000 times. So in this establishment, the young people get the opportunity to then cook in the real world because the customers out there are not expecting anything less than quality. So we make sure that we prepare them for that. We still push them through a lot of theory as well, so they don't become cooks, they become chefs because the chef has to understand the entire industry about the food.
Asidle also serves as an a la carte lunch and offers an Uber-like delivery service to the neighboring area.
And that was colleague Nadia Adams and Bon Hotel showing us that even in the middle of winter, we can get away without getting too far away, but still feeling a million miles away. We have more coming up after the break.
And giving an update on all leading stories.
You see South Africa has a yellow palette which indicates a warning color on this index.
We are first to give market updates.
And the more the currency is under pressure, also our costs go up.
We always give you the best guests to keep you informed and sharpen you for the day ahead.
You got to find something people are willing to pay for, that they need now, and they have the money to pay for it. The minute you tick those three boxes, you're in business.
Sports Roundup to fill you in.
985 is not the end. You know, for me, it's going faster than the 985 and keep improving the record.
Never start your day without Morning Live if you need a perfect dress guide for the day.
Parts of KZN into Kokstad, we're seeing those 4 patches. Please drive carefully.
Set the agenda for the day with Morning Live.
We make sure to be where news is happening,
both locally and globally. For the latest business news, stay with us.
From South Africa to the world, we've got all your latest sporting news.
Don't miss our weather updates every hour.
Stay tuned to News Today, Monday to Friday, from 3 to 5:30 p.m. here on SABC News.
Nature enthusiasts thronged India's southern Uti city to attend the annual flower exhibition. The 121st edition of Uti Flower Show boasts 100,000 new flowers, 15,000 potted plants and 1 black flower, in addition to 400,000 flowers which were already planted at the Government Botanical Garden in Tamil Nadu state.
I have come here from Bangalore to watch this. This is a very good experience of the flower show where we can find a different number of flowers with their names where we have never seen them. We can have a very beautiful experiences of different kinds of flowers.
The 3-day flower show, which began on May 19, mesmerized visitors with its wide variety of multi-hued flowers, topiary bird, and temple and selfie point. 5 types of carnations had also been imported from Italy, especially for the show.
So this is a beautiful garden, and there are various types of flowers here, like dahlia, marigold. The zarabaras decorated are very beautiful, and the garden is maintained very well.
The flower show was inaugurated by Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edapadi K. Palaniswamy.
Making furniture and crafts out of used pill bottles is an idea that Barbara Kimigisa came up with early last year to help tackle stigma and promote good health among people living with HIV/AIDS. Kimigisa runs a small workshop in Kampala where she makes and sells household furniture, pot holders, garbage bins and jewelry, among other items. But her main focus is educating people about the dangers of stigma and encouraging people living with HIV to take their medicines. Kimigisa was sexually abused by 2 uncles when she was a child. She says this contributed towards a reckless lifestyle of having multiple partners when she was older. Barbara discovered that she was HIV positive when she got pregnant.
I particularly chose empty ARV bottles because first of all, there is a lot of stigma associated with the HIV and anything related to HIV. So using empty ARV bottles, first of all, I'm saying we are beyond living with HIV, you know. So, and treatment is the basic, is something that every HIV positive person cannot do away with.
The 31-year-old says the pieces are both educational and functional and are meant to draw interest on the importance of antiretroviral treatment. ARV medication slows the development of HIV and holds off its progress into AIDS. The entrepreneur says she hopes her products will inspire people to talk openly about the virus and stop discrimination against people who are HIV positive. She runs the workshop with her husband and they employ workers who are HIV positive. Every week, her team collects used ARV bottles that litter nearby neighborhoods. They also buy empty bottles from residents. For every 500 bottles collected, the business pays $20 US.
I feel we are making impact in the community. First of all, we are employing young people in this community. Secondly, we are doing a lot of community sensitization about HIV, and we've been able to identify a number of young people and adults who are HIV positive, and we've done counseling with them and done follow-up with them. And for the environment part, we are really saving the environment as well.
Kimigisa markets her products in various neighborhoods. They cost between $5 and $150 US depending on the item. She also works at a local university where she helps create awareness about HIV/AIDS twice a week. Stigma around HIV discouraged many people from testing for the virus or revealing their status, so it's important for Kimigisa to encourage people to talk about it.
Asomesa nga atunda ebintu bino waba akusomeseza akubuulira nti bw'obanga oyina akawuka n'ogenda nga okasaasaanya oba nti oyagala kasaasaanya osobola okufunamu ate akalala ate nga kiba kikendeeza ku bulamu bwo ne bw'oba omira eddagala n'ekirala kiwa abantu awareness nti obulwadde gye buli basaanye beekuume. So kino kyakola kisobola okuyamba abantu bangi ate nga n'ababulina bafunamu ssente mu bintu bino.
In Uganda, about 1.5 million people, or about 4% of the population, live with the HIV virus, of whom about 820,000 receive ARV drugs. Uganda managed to cut infection rates from 18.5% of the population in 1992 to about 5% in 2000.
Interventions such as the psychosocial support, the livelihoods interventions have come on board. And these have actually not only empowered people living with HIV to live more, independent and economically viable lives, but that also helps to even, inform, to impact on the bigger community, the bigger society, and change the way they look at and the way they think about people who are affected by HIV.
Kemiyisa says she's happy with the project so far. She often gets invited to exhibit at various forums where she's able to speak on behalf of people living positively with the virus. Who knew that such beauty, positivity and creativity could come out of an ARV bottle? And speaking of creativity, we have quite a treat coming up for you after the break.
Rights and recourse tackles constitutional issues.
When South Africa became a constitutional democracy, we had a fairly sound legal system in place requiring the Constitution to guide the direction in which it must go and the way in which it must be refashioned.
The Justice Ministry, the custodian of human rights.
We actually have a plan to come up with a comprehensive review of our human rights instrument.
Advocates dealing with evidence.
Sometimes you have to use a crook to catch a crook. So we expected that credibility would really be taken to task. You try and consult your witnesses and prepare them as best as you can.
Hashtag Rights with Dumila Mates on legal issues every Sunday at 2 o'clock Central African Time.
What is environmental health?
In Section 24 of the Constitution, the environmental right has a second part, which is to encourage people to be active citizens and gives us the right to participate in politics and organise and raise awareness so that the environmental right can be guaranteed.
Using coal and wood and paraffin to cook with or to heat their space or to heat water. These are basic fundamentals, and I think if we can address that alone, we will make a huge impact, an environmental impact on the health of our population.
Food that comes into the country, the vigilance at the ports and harbours is being checked at the moment currently by environmental practitioners who are port officers at those ports. They need to be more stringent in terms of control of what comes into the country.
Join Health Talk every Saturday for all your health news.
Coming up, as promised, we see our Parisians and international foodies flock to the Taste of Paris Chefs Festival to sample a range of cuisine cooked up by world-renowned chefs. We also make a stop in the US to bid farewell to the greatest show of all time, and we make a stop in Moscow for the theatre performance of The Audience. Parisians and international foodies flock to the Taste of Paris Chefs Festival to sample a range of specialities cooked by world-renowned chefs. Highly sought-after French chefs such as Gregory Marchand and Amandine, who now also enjoy a reputation in London's food scene, man their own stalls at the festival. CHAIGNOT came from a scientific background and after beginning a postgraduate degree in pharmaceutical studies, decided that this was not for her. Starting out in hospitality as a waitress, she then enrolled in one of France's best professional culinary schools, École Grégoire Ferrandi. Following this, the 38-year-old worked in various top Parisian kitchens before starting out as an executive chef at Rosewood, London's luxury hotels restaurant in January 2015.
I know that Emmanuel Macron is really into food. The chef from the EISENBERG is a good friend of mine. Guillaume is a good friend of mine. I know that, I don't know what he's after, but I reckon he's young, he's very energetic, quite fit. Probably something like a seafood or fish-based. There's some beautiful asparagus. We're in the beautiful season of asparagus currently in France. So probably some green asparagus, just grilled, a bit of langoustine or sea bass, and cockles, something really fresh and springy.
Founder and head chef of the popular Frenchy restaurant in Paris and London, Gregory Marchand also suggested a similar themed dish with the seasonal asparagus for the 39-year-old president. Marchand, on the other hand, got into cooking totally by chance.
Okay.
I've heard he likes to eat light, so I could propose. I mean, if Emmanuel Macron, if President Macron would come to a Taste of Paris, I would definitely do the asparagus dish we do here. Seasonal, ethical, delicious. So hopefully he would appreciate that.
Marchand was struggling at school and chose a manual route, saying he could have easily been a labourer or a plumber.
Parce qu'il y a beaucoup de Parisiens, mais il y a beaucoup d'étrangers qui viennent également pour découvrir. Bon, la gastronomie française, elle est connue mondialement. Mais regrouper une cinquantaine de chefs étoilés, c'est déjà quelque chose, c'est un plus. Voilà, et connaître tous les restaurants. Moi, j'habite Paris, je suis expat, j'habite Paris. Mais il y a des restaurants, il y a des chefs que je ne connaissais pas sur Paris. On les a découverts ici sur le salon.
It's nice to have a nice light meal, something different, something that you don't have the time or the talent to do at home. And besides, it's interesting for people who want to travel, because all these chefs have restaurants, and the restaurant that won the best restaurant in the world is here in Paris, so can't go wrong.
The festival features signature dishes from Paris's top restaurants, cooking workshops and stalls from food and drink producers. The clowns, animal acts and acrobats of the storied Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus took their final bow at the arena outside New York City, with a space-themed balancing act kicking off the farewell performance of the greatest show on earth after 150 years.
It's incredibly heartwarming to see all of you that have come out for the final performance of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. At the bottom of our hearts, we want to say thank you all very much. And it's the people, it's the spirit, the dedication, the perseverance of everyone that you'll see tonight that makes the impossible possible.
Capping a legacy that stretches back to the 19th century showman P.T. Barnum, the circus bade adieu to a series of shows at the newly refurbished Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale on New York's Long Island. The final show was a sellout with about 17,000 people in attendance. Space-suited tightrope walkers Laszlo Simmet and his wife Olga launched the final show on a slowly revolving wedge-shaped wheel. Ringmaster Jonathan Lee Iverson led the audience in the song Auld Lang Syne, and the show came to an end while circus members hugged and said their goodbyes. After the show, audience members said they were sad to see the circus end. The final show, announced by Feld in January, came a year after the company bowed to pressure from animal rights activists and agreed to stop using elephants in its performances. A featured attraction for more than a century, the elephants had come to symbolize the Ringling Brothers Band. Feld decided to fold its tent as a result of high operating costs combined with lower ticket sales. It is said in a statement at the time. After phasing out the elephants, the owner said the decline in attendance was greater than could have been anticipated. Ringling Brothers continue to showcase tigers, lions, horses, dogs and camels until the end, despite the fierce criticism from people for the ethical treatment of animals. The animal rights group tied Ringling's demise to its long-standing resistance to demands that it stop using animals. The circus has long defended its treatment of animals as humane. The 13 Asian elephants used in Ringling's 2 touring companies were retired to the company's 200-acre Center for Elephant Conservation in Polka City, Florida. Fewer than 40,000 Asian elephants remain in the wild. About 250 are in captivity in the United States, 26 of which were born in the past 20 years at Ringling facilities.
Yeah, these are my grandchildren.
Your grandchildren, what did you think of the circus?
It was really fun.
What were your kids exposed to it?
It's sad. It's awesome, but sad. It's really surreal. She was just crying on the way out, saying, "Mommy, why did it have to close?" Right? But my aunt and Frank and my mom. It's sad, but it's, I'm so glad that we were able to come. I saw it when I was a little girl, so it's pretty surreal.
It's bittersweet. I'm a kid at heart. It's great to be here, but it's sad that this is the very last show. 146 years.
Thank you. Oh, it was a great experience, especially for the family. It was just sad because I saw it since I was little, and I got to experience with my daughter this time.
Well, at least
Amidst Russia's standoff with the West, Moscow Theatre of Nations presented the stage version of The Audience, a play about British monarch Queen Elizabeth's meetings with her prime ministers in a strive to heal the breach. The Queen's meetings with her prime ministers are private, so The Audience is an imagining of the conversations and relationships Elizabeth has had with the British leaders who served during her more than 60-year reign. The piece, written by Peter Morgan, who also penned Oscar-winning film The Queen, lets audiences listen in to her conversations and depressed Gordon Brown.
Мы переживаем сложные отношения сейчас с Западом, и в данном случае с Великобританией. И на самом деле лучшим послом доброй воли всегда и во все времена, и, может быть, даже более тяжелые времена, являлась культура. И в данном случае наш спектакль как раз выступает таким мостиком между нашими народами, людьми Великобритании и России.
This adaptation also drew the focus of royal conversations closer to Russia. The Queen touches upon Joseph Stalin with Winston Churchill. Bedridden Harold Macmillan brings up the visit of the first astronaut, Yuri Gagarin.
И совместно Питер и Глеб Анатольевич добавили в пьесу, в общем, русский элемент. И таким образом там появились разговоры королевы с премьер-министрами о России, которых в изначальной пьесе не было.
They hear her playful, friendly banter with Labour Minister Harold Wilson and watch as she soothes a testy Margaret Thatcher. The director of the Moscow performance, Gleb Panfilov, who calibrates with the author of the Moscow performance, says the company planned to expand the piece further into today's reality.
Именно это обстоятельство нас особо вдохновляет, потому что мы творим современную пьесу, современную историю, нынешнюю. Более того, мы предполагаем в ближайшие месяцы менять финал, добавлять новые события, которые происходят в Великобритании. Я имею в виду новый премьер-министр.
Ina Churikova, who plays Queen Elizabeth II, said the role brought her responsibility and excitement. With each scene, the Queen's age changes along with her costumes and hairstyle. In some scenes, Churikova appears alongside younger versions of the monarch, showing her reluctance to move into Buckingham Palace and her early annoyances with royal life.
На премьере фильма «Умри, но не сейчас» я там снимался, и вот на премьере нас представили Ее Величеству королеве Елизавете. То есть я ее видел близко, и мы сидели буквально через несколько лож, смотрели кино. Это совершенно невероятный. От нее действительно, она какой-то портал. Вот как есть такие люди у нас. И у нас, на нашей земле, и там. Это люди, через которые информация какая-то духовная на нас валится.
Возникает такой какой-то замечательный образ этой удивительной женщины умной, тонкой, ироничной, мужественной, удивляющейся как ребенок, потому что она сохранила в себе какие-то детские качества. Ей 90 лет, а я в ней ощущаю ребенка.
The 3-hour play is almost intended to be a diplomatic act, which aims to bring the nations of Great Britain and Russia together.
Тоже. А погода? Прекрасно. Давай поприветствуем. Давай.
Well, that's all we have for you on today's edition of Trendz Travel. We do hope that you enjoyed our mini tour around the globe and that you join us again next week, same time, same place.